We got Stephen in Austin. Hey, we got a local call. Stephen, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, thanks for waiting. How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
I just wanted to kind of get you guys' opinion on this whole ancient aliens theory. You know, we've seen now that, you know, there's evidence of atomic blasts in...
Whoa. There is?
Yes, there has been.
Okay. Such as?
For instance...
You're talking about ancient atomic blasts, right?
Yeah, ancient atomic blasts, yeah.
Okay.
How ancient?
3,000 to 1,500 BC.
So that would be before World War II. Okay.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Such as the incidents in the Indus Valley described in the Mahabharata at Mohenjo-Daro.
Okay, a description is not evidence. I can read you descriptions of a Balrog from Lord of the Rings. Doesn't mean there ever was one. What's the evidence that there was an atomic blast?
They have proved vitrification of the rocks found in the Mohenjo-Daro site. They have found...
Whoa, what does that mean, crude vitrification? What does that mean?
Vitrification is when you take a rock and you've superheated it. And the only way to get that level of heat into a rock like that would have to be through some sort of nuclear transfusion.
That's not true. I'd recommend you go get Phil Plate's book, his latest book about how the world will end. I forget the name of it. Does anybody remember that off the top of your head? Death from the Skies. One of the things he does, he goes through all the different ways that, you know, the world will likely end. But one of the things that we know, for example, with like the KT event and others, there are these huge impacts from meteorites, et cetera, that have the energy in the atmosphere of hundreds of thousands of nuclear weapons. So to say that a nuclear weapon is the only way that that type of heat could have been generated on Earth at any time in the prehistoric world is simply not true, since we already know of at least one event that generated more heat than that and potentially wiped out the dinosaurs. So we need something else for there to get from there was intense heat to therefore it was nuclear weapons, and then a step further to aliens. So how do you bridge those gaps?
Well, talk about radioactivity, which doesn't come from asteroid collisions.
Not true. I mean, and not only that, but you've got solar flare activity that produces devastating radioactivity, which could have happened countless times over the history of the planet. You need more to get to nuclear weapon.
Okay.
I think an answer to your question, Stephen, is we don't buy it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I know you guys are big on saying that, you know, the documentation through ancient texts are not a valid source, which I understand where you're coming from.
For some things.
Well, they talk about how people's hair and nails fall out, pottery broke without any apparent cause, birds turned white. You know, there are certain things that people in that time could not have known that is the nuclear fallout that they had no idea.
So maybe it wasn't
nuclear.
So maybe it wasn't. You mean, sure, they couldn't have known that. I agree, they couldn't have known that because I don't think they experienced any nuclear explosions. That they reported those other things.
They say that a single projectile charged with all the power in the universe, an incandescent column of smoke and flame as bright as 10,000 suns.
And
swirling suns going around it. I mean, that's...
And?
Well, they explain all the
take any human being, let his...
a nuclear explosion.
Take any human being...
No.
Dude, take any human being, let their imagination run wild and write some shit down. I mean, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, it's not like it's just some, off random person writing it down on a piece of paper, and this is the Mahabharata that it's been around for thousands of years.
So what? I'm sure there's somebody's laundry list that's been around for thousands of years.
I mean, saying something happened and then getting to determine what actually happened are two different things. And what you're doing is saying, okay, we've got heated rock and reports of something that sounds like the after effects of a nuclear blast, and then saying that here seems reasonable that there was. When we already know that there are alternate explanations for many of these, including reports of supernova stars, which would produce, intense light, coronal mass ejections from the sun, solar flares, things like that. Any of those things could account for any of those, and you're putting them together in at different times in different ways. At the end of the day, how much sense does it make that thousands of years ago, these ancient people who did not understand what was happening were being, I don't know, bombarded by alien nukes? I mean, really?
Yeah, what was the motive?
Why would that happen? I mean, it doesn't pass the sniff test. Aliens came all the way across the galaxy, found Earth with a bunch of kind of like primitive cultures that were able to make pottery.
The theory doesn't say they came across us and just found us. The theory actually goes that, they took life here on Earth that was abundant in its many different varieties, gene spliced the actual, even maybe the apes, to create this.
Yeah, we're really not buying it now.
And in addition to this, they blew up some nuclear weapons while they were doing this gene splicing.
Piling more crazy claims on top of it does not make it more believable.
Yeah,
that's a fundamental error.
Well, you can say that it's a crazy claim, and you can tell me that it's not viable all you want. But what if? Just put yourself in my shoes. What if it is true?
What if monkeys fly out of my butt?
How bad would that shake your foundation?
It doesn't matter. A claim is not more likely to be true, is not made more likely to be true by making it more extreme.
It wouldn't shake my foundation.
What matters is what's actually true. It doesn't matter how big a deal it would be if it was true. That's irrelevant.
It wouldn't shake my foundations at all because my foundations are on evidence. And if you prove that it was true based on evidence, it doesn't shake my foundations. It gives me a broader understanding of what is actually true.
There's been the evidence, but what about the ancient? What about the Nazca lines in Peru?
Keep going on.
The Nazca lines of Peru. Okay. Wow. You're done, Stephen. Sorry. I mean, I can't possibly waste an entire show with 2 calls about the most batshit crazy, ideas.
And you don't see the evidence even in our daily lives?
Of what?
Volcanic activity, global warming temperatures going up.
Evidence our daily
lives
lives of
what?
what?
Aliens?
The planet Nibiru and Nephilim coming our way.
Really?
No.
Please tell me you just called to mess with us.
Honestly, I don't buy into any of it either.
Well, then why did you do that?
I wanted to get your guys' opinion when unbiased.
I see.
I think we had that in the first, 2 minutes, dude.
All right, look.
We think it's a lot of crap.
You heard a bunch of stuff that you don't really buy into, so you called to see if we bought into. You knew before you called that we weren't going to buy into this because you already realized there's not sufficient evidence, so you just kind of wasted a bunch of time. I mean, I don't need fake amusing calls. We can get amusing calls from real people. There are
we can actually be amusing
ourselves
if we put our minds to it.
We got, is it Shilpa in Phoenix?
Hey, Matt. Hey, Jeff.
Yeah, we talked last week after the show.
I know. And, hey, by the way, Jeff, I did call once and say thank you to you about the hell, that you were giving people about hell.
He's giving them hell about hell.
Okay,
great.
That
was really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, because that helped me a lot with, dealing with that. But anyway, Matt, we had that long argument last time about, after the show. And
yeah, did you determine I was right?
You said, you said a bunch of things. You called me immoral. You said I was a liar.
Uh-oh.
No, you're misrepresenting what happened afterwards. I said in those particular situations, that would have been my response.
I don't know, man. It's your word against hers.
I was just saying, kindness is better than truth, but obviously you don't believe that.
No, you're right. I do not believe that kindness is necessarily better than truth. I do not believe that. That doesn't make me opposed to kindness.
Well, I know.
Anyway, so what'd you have for today?
Well, I just wanted to ask you then, based on the things that you said, what do you really think should happen to religion? As an atheist, what do you feel that you want to see happen to religion?
You can go.
Me? She asked you.
Well, I know. But
I would like to see all religions looked at the way we look at the dead ones now. Mm-hmm. That I think Norse mythology is cool. I think ancient Egyptian mythology is cool. I think Greek and Roman mythology is cool. Mm-hmm. I'm fascinated by reading books about these crazy characters and their wild adventures and their amazing superpowers. I think that's fine. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
But, there's nothing wrong with, I've always said, there's nothing wrong with religion that wouldn't be equally wrong if somebody came out of watching The Terminator and start saying to themselves, "Boy, I wonder if there's evil robots from the future going to come after me." Fiction is fiction. It's a fine thing to look at and study, and that's great, as long as nobody's taking it seriously.